Good afternoon, traders. This is Jason with MotiveWave. Welcome to today's webinar. MotiveWave Mobile is live. In this webinar, we will be taking you through the newly released mobile app available on iOS and Android. And let me tell you, we are excited to finally be launching this thing. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to attend. Today's presentation will be approximately 35 minutes, and there will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. There should be a Q&A button on your Zoom controls where you'll be able to type in your questions and feedback, so go ahead and do that at any time. The webinar recording will be posted to our YouTube page within 48 hours. If you're watching this webinar on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. And I just need to go over a quick disclaimer. There's substantial risk of loss in trading commodity futures, options, stocks, equities, indices, cryptocurrencies, and foreign exchange products. Futures and options trading has large potential reward and also large potential risk. You must be aware of these risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the markets. And please do not trade with money you can't afford to lose. We've posted CFTC Rule 4.41 for you to read. And I will mention that MotiveWave has a 14-day risk-free trial, and you can sign up at motivewave.com. And in case you want to follow along today, the MotiveWave mobile app is available for download on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. So head over to your respective app stores and search for MotiveWave to download the app. And while you download the app, I'm just going to talk about specific purchase scenarios for our users. So the basic mobile app can be used without logging in, but the functionality is very limited. If you have a lease, the mobile app is included free of charge. If you have a purchase license with up-to-date updates and support, the mobile app is included free of charge. Now, if you have a purchase license with expired updates and support, you will need to purchase updates and support to access full functionality for your edition. Mobile app features will be the same as the desktop app. So if you have the order flow edition, you'll have access to the advanced DOM, order flow studies, etc. on the mobile app. For standard edition users, you would have feature parity between desktop and mobile as well. So you wouldn't have access to the advanced DOM, unfortunately. You can currently purchase MotiveWave Mobile as a standalone product via the app. If you make a purchase inside the app, it is only for the mobile edition. I just want to repeat that again. It is only for the mobile edition and does not include the desktop application. So purchases through the app will likely be shown in your home currencies, and in-app purchases are only available on iOS, but they should be coming soon to Android. All right, so hopefully you have the MotiveWave app installed now, and I can head over to my little emulator here. So after you install MotiveWave on your mobile device, you should see an app icon on one of your device pages. So go ahead and open it now. And this is the screen you'll be greeted to when you launch MotiveWave for the first time. In order to create your first workspace, you need to select Get Started. We can now add a connection. So I think for today, I'm going to add a rhythmic connection, and then I can select Add. At this point, I can now rename the workspace. So since this is a rhythmic connection, I'm just going to call this one Rhythmic. And then down in the bottom right-hand corner here, you can select Continue. So now I'm shown the main login screen. I'll just go back into that menu. If we select this overflow menu here, the three dots in the upper right-hand corner, you can actually go in and add more workspaces if you'd like. And for our professional and ultimate edition users, you actually have the ability to add multiple connections to a single workspace. The lower editions are limited to a single connection per workspace, but you can have multiple workspaces if you like. So now I'm just going to drag this app off screen so I can enter my login and password. And then once I'm done that, I can connect. So let me quickly do that now. And I just selected login, and I'm going to bring this back over to my other monitor. And now you can see that we have launched the app. Okay, so since I'm using an emulator that is set to replicate an Android tablet, I'm greeted to the tablet mode layout. So there are two types of layouts available, the phone layout and the tablet layout. And MotiveWave will attempt to detect your display resolution and determine if you're running a phone or a tablet. If you'd like to switch between the two layout types, you can select the overflow menu in the bottom right-hand corner. This is the three vertical dots just down here. You can select general preferences next. And then our first option available is application layout, which is currently set to tablet. So let's just do a quick overview of the phone layout. So let's swap this over to phone and apply the changes. And I'm just going to rotate my application here. And now you can see we're in the phone layout. So we have pages down at the bottom. The first page is the account page. So this is just going to list your accounts, balances, your orders, and positions. Next to that, what we're launched into is the watch list page. So this is going to come pre-populated with some pre-populated lists, and you can cycle through each list with the right and left arrows down here at the bottom. You can modify the watch list with this gear icon here. You can add or remove any of the instruments. And this plus icon here will allow you to add or remove different columns. And if you'd like to view an instrument's chart, you can actually select the instrument from the watch list and it will open it up in the chart page here. So let's go ahead and select ESH3. And you can see it drops us over onto the chart page now. And if you'd like to switch the instrument from the chart page, you can actually use this instrument selector scroll wheel down at the bottom. So you could scroll between the different instruments, or what you can do is just tap it, and it's going to allow you to search for a symbol. All right, next to that, we have the auto scale button on the right side. Most of you know what that does. After that, we have the add study button. So you can tap that and you can search for or scroll through any of the studies available here. And we have them organized as well in different containers. After that, we have the add component or add drawing. So you can see some of your favorites here, or you can go over to the All tab and scroll left or right to see your options, and up or down. You can see we have many different drawing tools available. Okay, and after that, we have the bar size scroll wheel. So you can scroll it either up or down to select different bar sizes, or you can tap it again to see some of your favorites. And if you want a custom bar size, go over the custom tab. And if your edition allows, you'll have access to nonlinear bars here. So tick, range, Ranko, point and figure, etc. And after that, finally, we have the chart preferences, which is the gear icon. So the next pages we can see, we have access to the time and sales. If you go to that page, you can see time and sales that are coming in. And if we go back into our overflow menu, we can see we have access to the book or the order book. So we can select that now. And you can see the order book. And you can see from the overflow menu, we have a few other options such as creating new orders, going into general preferences, sending your log files, and sign up, sign in, share screen, or clear local data. But what happens now, if we try to go to the DOM page, we're going to see that's an advanced feature, and we don't have that available in the free edition. So up until this point, we've used MotiveWave's basic functionality, which is fine. You can do that. However, if we want to use some more of the advanced functionality, we'll need to sign in or sign up for a free trial. If you want to sign up for a free trial, you can do so directly from this dialog in the app. Or if you've already purchased MotiveWave and you have a purchase license or you have a lease, we need to use this sign in button down here. So if we want to do that, we can just click the sign in button. And what we can do now is just go through a device authorization. So in order to authorize a device, will obviously need to sign in. So you'll need to enter the email address associated with your MotiveWave desktop purchase. And if you're unsure what address you used, you can open the desktop application and go to the Help About screen, and you'll see the email address listed there. So let me go ahead and enter my email address here. And what we do from here is just click Sign In. And it's going to say that we've sent you an authorization email to jason@motivewave.com. So what I'm going to do now is just go and check my email here. And I'll bring it over for everybody to see. We can see that it's going to list our device ID, our device type, which is an Android emulator, and your location. And all you have to do is click this link here, and it's going to say device access enabled. So you're all good to go from this point. So let me get rid of that window. So after that's done, you've clicked that link, you can just click the continue button now. And we should be signed in now. So I can go over to the DOM page, and we can see I have access to the advanced DOM because I'm on the professional edition of the mobile app. Okay, so let's actually switch over to the tablet mode manually by going to this overflow menu, go into general preferences, and then our application layout. Let's set it to tablet, apply the changes. And I'm just going to rotate the tablet again so we can see a little bit more here. So if I head back into the general preferences here and we go over to the dock menu, you can see that we have tab, page bar, toolbar locations, which can be configured to be on the top or bottom. So you can set these however you like. And just so you know, tabs work just like the desktop application. So for example, you can click this plus icon here and you can add a new tab. So you have the option to add a new chart, watch list, DOM, order book, time and sales, accounts, balances, positions, orders, or your trade history. And if required, each tab will have its own preferences menu. So see this little gear icon in the top right corner. So that would be the chart preferences there. You also have the ability to expand this chart full screen by clicking these two arrows here. You can see that full screen. It took away the watch list at the bottom there. I click it again and we go back into the normal view. So in tablet mode, we have the toolbar that is located up top. And on the far left, we have the instrument wheel selector, which we talked about in the phone layout. Next to that, we have undo and redo buttons. After that, we have the analysis button. So you can go ahead and create a new analysis from here. The button after that is the chart template button. So you can create a template here. It would allow me to create one if I had studies on the chart. After that, we have the share chart button. So you can select this. It's going to allow you to send this chart image, over email to different apps, maybe Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or SMS, whatever you have installed on your phone. Over on the right-hand side, we have the lock scroll button. So this button locks scrolls between the scroll between multiple charts. So say I had a different chart up, it would keep the same time frame in view. After that, we have the chart crosshair button. And next to that, we have the bar type menu. So you can see we have the option for OHLC, candle, line, etc., even no bars. After that, we have the auto scale, which most users know. And then we have the add study. We've talked about this in previous webinars, so I won't go into too much detail, but you can see we have many of our order flow studies included as well. After that, we have the add chart component or chart drawing, whichever you want to call it. And then next to that, we have the bar size selector wheel. Next up in the list, after that, we have the add or show orders, and then the object viewer. So the object viewer is going to show you all of your studies and components that are on the selected chart. Next to that, we have the attached DOM. We can attach the order book through this button here. And you can attach the time and sales button with this button here. Finally, we have the general preferences menu. So you can click that instead of going into the overflow menu and selecting general preferences. You can just select it from here. All right, so the tablet layout allows you to create your own pages, unlike the phone layout. So if you'd like to create a new page, you can do so by clicking this plus icon down here at the bottom, and then select our layout, and we'll call this one not carts, charts. And then select OK here. And you can see it's created a new page called charts. I'm just going to load up the charts now. So if you'd like to duplicate a page, you can actually select this little 2-page icon down here. So if I wanted to duplicate this charts page, I select this button and it's going to create another one. And if I want to reorganize the order in which these pages are displayed, all you have to do is tap and hold and drag it over. And if you want to delete a page, all you do is swipe left on the page tab, just like this, and it's going to ask us, it's going to confirm, do you want to do this? We're just going to say yes. If you want to delete this other charts page, we can swipe over to the left and select yes, we want to delete it. So let's go back to our home page now. And the tablet layout docking framework works just like our desktop app. So this means you can add tabs, move them wherever you want, and then resize them to your liking. So for example, I could add a new chart tab up here. And then I could move it next to the other one. So what I have to do now is press and hold the tab for a second or so, and then you'll see the chart tab kind of pop out. And at this point, you can drag it wherever you like. So I could kind of drag it to the top here. And this works just like our desktop app. So you can kind of drag it anywhere that you want. And if we want to resize any of the chart windows, you simply drag on the divider, just like you would in our desktop app. So you can do that now. And if you find the divider width isn't large enough, let's say you're unable to tap and drag easily, you can go into the general preferences menu here, go over to the dock and select the divider width. So we can increase this to maybe 20 or 30 pixels. It's going to make this divider a little larger so that you can maybe be able to grab it with your finger if you're using, say, a tablet or something like that. Make it a little easier. And we also, since screen real estate is at a premium on tablets, we also have the option to remove the divider space entirely. So see in the bottom right corner here, there's this little tab right here. If I click this button, what it's going to do is it's going to remove all that divider space for us. But one thing to keep in mind, if you have multiple tabs, say we have multiple tabs right here, and we remove this space, it's actually going to remove the ability to select that tab up there. So you just got to know that tab may disappear once you select this option. Okay, so if you'd like to delete a tab, you can just swipe left on the tab itself like we did for pages. So we could do that here. And it's going to confirm, and we're going to say yes. And if we've messed up the layout and we want to start fresh with the default layout, we can actually go over to the overflow menu and select reset layout here. It's going to ask us if we want to do that. We can say yes. And let's try to rotate again. Let's see if there was something funny happening here. Let's see if I can get back into landscape mode. Maybe something is funny is happening with the Android emulator. I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't seem to want to allow this to happen. It is very odd. All right. So let me quickly run through how I might set up the tablet mode. Since we're not in landscape, I don't have landscape available to me. This is going to be a little more difficult for me, but just bear with me. So what I would probably do, since we have our accounts page down here, I might remove all these things down here. Trades, we don't need to see that. We don't really need to see any of the other information here. And I would kind of keep this full screen. I'm just going to remove the MES chart. And I don't think I really want to be on ESH3. I actually want to be on ESM3. Oop, not delayed. My mistake. ESM3 live. So that's going to load up the data. So what I might do here is I might have, maybe like a daily, a 15-minute chart, maybe not show the DOM on this one. I would possibly add another chart next to this. And maybe this could be my trigger chart. So I could set it to 5 minutes. If I wanted to, if this was my trigger chart and I was an order flow trader, maybe I wanted to look at a footprint chart. So we could add the volume imprint study, set it to bid ask, click add. It's just going to take a little while to load the tick data here. What I might want to do for this one as well is I don't want to see the bars showing up in the background. So I'm going to remove that, select no bars. And while this is loading up, maybe I want to attach a DOM. And you can see that I can add or remove columns from the DOM. Maybe I don't want to see the P&L. I don't really care to see the P&L, to be honest with you. I'll move my orders over on this side just by clicking and dragging. And you can resize any of the columns just by selecting the column divider and just dragging it over. So I'll maybe reduce the width of the price column. Since I'm on the, I guess, kind of portrait mode here, I don't have my landscape mode available to me. This is going to be rather difficult, but maybe I'll keep the bid ask combined column, whereas normally I would probably remove this combined bid ask and add separate columns for the bid and offer. And then you could resize it like so. And our volume column will eventually fill in here. The tick data is still loading, so we'll maybe give it a second or two. But that's how I would kind of set up my mobile application, but I guess it would be more in the landscape mode, not the portrait mode. So let's quickly talk about placing trades now. So there are a few ways to place trades in MotiveWave. The first would be directly on the DOM. So you want to possibly unlock the DOM here. And what you can do to enter an order on the DOM is just tap and hold the bid column to place a buy limit order at the given price, or you can tap and hold the ask column to place a sell limit at the given price. I'm not going to do that right now because this account that I have here doesn't have as much money in, so the order is just going to be rejected anyways. So I'll just refrain from that right now. Or what you can do is tap and hold the price column as well at any given price, and it's going to bring up this multiple order option menu here. So if I want to place a limit order, I could do so from this menu, or a stop plus profit and stop, limit plus profit and limit. Another option, if I want to place an OCO order, is just to select this OCO button at the bottom of the DOM. And this is just going to allow me to place a limit plus stop, etc. One other method to place an order, let me just get rid of that, is to open up the trade panel. So see this little up arrow here? If I select this, it's going to open up the trade panel. So the trade panel is a nice, easy way to place buy and sell market orders. You can also place orders at the bid or offer. The trade panel is also where you'd set the quantity and the time in force down here. So you'll actually want to open up the trade panel to change these before placing any orders on your DOM. And another quick tip with the DOM is if you want to recenter it at any time, just double tap on any column and it's just going to recenter it for you. So you also have access to the trade panel at the bottom of the chart window here. So let me just swap over to the 15-minute. And you can see this little up arrow here. We can access a trade panel from there as well. You're also able to place trades directly from the chart by tapping and holding on the chart background. And it's going to allow you to select new order, and you can enter a trade in from here. You can actually tap and hold on the price axis at whatever price you'd like to enter the order. And it's going to open up a new order ticket window for you. And Along with that, you can actually enter an order from the crosshair. So if you enable the crosshair, you can see there's a little plus icon next to the price axis. If you click that, you can see there's going to give you a bunch of different options. These options will vary depending on your connection, but with Rhythmic, I'm allowed to, buy limit 1 at this price. You can select buy limit plus profit and stop as well, or you can add a guide. So that's another little easy way to enter an order. I guess last method would be to go to the overflow menu in the bottom right-hand corner here and select new order, and it's going to open up a new order ticket window for you. So that's how I would use the layout in my kind of style of trading, but everybody has their own needs and use cases. So hopefully you can see from this example, the tablet mode allows for complex and powerful mobile workspaces. I would even go as far as saying that it rivals a lot of desktop applications with its functionality. Hey, look, we finally got our footprint chart loaded up here. So I guess I can quickly go through the footprint. What you can do is disable auto scale like you normally would on the desktop. And you could kind of change the scaling options that you wanted. So that's nice to be able to have a footprint chart on a mobile application. All right, so now I just want to cover what's new since the last webinar, or the things that maybe I didn't cover in the previous webinars. So I don't think I mentioned in the other webinars that we have harmonics tools. So you can actually find this by opening the drawing or tools menu here. Go over to the All tab and scroll all the way down to harmonics. And you can see we have harmonics drawing tools. And we actually also have the auto harmonics study available in our studies. So if you go ahead and search for auto, you can see that we actually have an auto harmonics study included. And one major feature that I failed to mention in the previous webinar was the ability to add multiple analyses to a single chart. So this is something that we plan to add to our desktop app in the near future. The reason I consider this a major feature is it will allow you to have a set of drawings on multiple charts of the same instrument. So for example, you can create an analysis named zones, which could contain your support and resistance zones. And then you could add that to your other charts. So let's kind of go through an example now. Let me get rid of this footprint chart. We'll just bring our candlesticks back. Set up auto scale. Kind of make it look like a normal chart here. There we go. And let's say I'm on a 15-minute chart and I want to add my zones to this 15-minute chart. What I can do is create a new analysis. And I'm going to call this one zones. Going to click OK. And now you can see we have a titled analysis chart named zones. And if I wanted to, I could just remove this untitled analysis because we don't really need it anymore. And let's go ahead and add some support and resistance components here. So I can go to my tools menu, and it's under my favorites. Let's add, there we go. Let's add a support zone here. Maybe we want to add a resistance area up here. I guess I'm getting a little too close to the top, but let's just add one here. We're going to extend it both ways and click update. So now you can see we have our support and resistance zones on this title analysis named zones. But on our 5-minute trigger chart, let's say we were executing from this chart, so we'd have the DOM up, something like that, and we want to add these zones. What we can do is actually go back over to this analysis folder icon and click the add drawings menu item here. And it's going to give us a choice of all of our title analyses. Since we want to add these zones, I select that and then click OK. And now you can see that the zones were added to my 5-minute trigger chart. If we go back over to our 15-minute chart, let's say I wanted to add another zone. I want to add another support area here. And we're just going to extend this left and right. we go back over to our 5-minute chart, we can see it was also added here. So that's something that is really powerful that we're going to add to the desktop application in the near future. Currently, the workaround that we use on desktop is very cumbersome, as it requires you to use the same analysis for all your charts. And then you have to hide certain studies using the visibility settings. And this actually wouldn't work if you had multiple charts using the same bar size. So this is going to be a big deal. I know a lot of you have been asking for this. This is in the mobile app, but coming to the desktop app as well. So another item we added was the ability to hide the disconnected connection icons. So this could be found by going to the General Preferences menu on the General tab, and you can select Show Disconnected Icons here. So this is useful if you're on the Professional or Ultimate edition, you have, say, multiple connections in your workspace, or you're just a regular workspace and you may have been disconnected. You're going to see this little icon come up right here. Let's go ahead and disconnect. We're going to see our little disconnected icon here. And that could get annoying if you had multiple connections, you just didn't want to log into one of them. That's going to just stick around for the entire time and kind of get in your way. So if you want, you can go into the General Preferences, select that, and it's going to remove that disconnected icon, or you can show it if you like. We're just going to reconnect now. So the next item that we did not discuss in the previous webinar was the automatic clearing of local data. So since MotiveWave Mobile can download tick data, and depending on your use of the app, this could be a lot of data. We've added a feature that will clear all your local data if your phone or tablet's free space is under 100 megabytes. We realize this number is kind of low, so we may increase this to something like 500 megabytes in the future. So just keep this in mind if one day you start up the app and all of a sudden, all the local data seems to be cleared. It's likely because your storage space on your device is too low, and we've automatically done it for you. If you want to do it manually, you can just long press on the chart background, and you can select More, and then Clear Local Data. What that's going to do is that's going to clear the local data for that instrument. But if you want to clear it for all instruments, go into the Overflow menu, select More, and then clear all local data. One other item we added was the trimming of the amount of log files. So this will automatically happen in the background. We don't want to use too much of your device's storage space. So it's gonna trim those amount of log files automatically. And lastly, one unfortunate update that had to happen in the latest release was we had to remove Binance and Kraken connections from the iOS app. And this was needed in order to get Apple App Store approval. We still kind of believe there could be a bit of a misunderstanding. So we will be attempting to work through this issue with Apple in the future. But as of right now, no Binance and Kraken on iOS. All right, so that concludes the presentation. All right, Joe, so should we jump back into more of the questions?
Sure, let's grab some more here.
Okay.
Corey asks, I cannot connect to my data provider IQ feed. What option from the 6 provided should I use? As far as data only, the only 4 we have right now are broker related. As far as IQ feed, their current API requires a client, so that's not going to work on mobile. So you'd have to have one of those 4 options, an account in one of those 4 brokers mentioned before.
Okay.
How do I add my saved templates from my desktop app? This is not currently supported.
Just a quick question, Joe. Did you get that sync the desktop with mobile? Excuse me.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I should be reading out these names. Last one I just read out, it was Ryan.
Okay.
We're on to Mahanad. My broker is IBKR. Can this help me? We cannot currently connect to IB, but we're looking at that as an option for the future. Raj, yeah, go ahead.
I'll get this one.
Yeah.
Raj asks, how can you see waves on the charts? So we don't currently have Elliott waves in the mobile app, but this is on our list, our to-do list. This is something that we plan on adding, so we do plan on adding the Elliott Wave algorithm into the mobile app. So that should be coming at a later date.
You want to keep going, Jason? Then I'll grab a few after.
Okay, let's see here. Sorry, they're disappearing from me.
Oh, sorry.
Is it possible to add custom studies to the mobile app? Not currently. The mobile app is written in a different language, so we're not going to be able to use the custom studies like the Java SDK in the mobile app. So you can't use your own custom studies. However, in the future, we may decide to add some other type of language, easy programming language. What's the something possibly like Pine Script? We've talked about adding that to the mobile app. Go ahead, Joe, if you want to take one.
Okay. Paul asks, could we have cloud workspaces? I don't want to have to recreate all my workspaces that have my PC. This is currently not supported. It may be in some future version. That along with analysis is not supported at the moment.
Yeah, that's something that we've talked about that we'd really like. We actually need to make changes to our desktop application for that to work. So this is something that we're going to look into for version 7 of MotiveWave. Would be, can you have your analyses and your workspaces sync up between mobile and desktop? That would be really cool, and that's something that we would like to have. Thanks, Joe.
Yep. Where are we at now?
If you Anonymous asks, if you enter a trade on the desktop, can you see and monitor the trade on the mobile app and vice versa? It would depend on the connection, but yeah, it should. Yeah. If the order now, if we're talking about, orders that have been filled, yeah, you should be able to see a filled order on your mobile app. The next question is, can you be logged in on mobile and the desktop at the same time? So as far as MotiveWave is concerned, you can have the MotiveWave desktop open and the MotiveWave mobile open. That's no problem. Now, the question is, does your connection support that? A lot of connections don't. A lot of connections would only allow you to have one. But if your broker supports it, then it should work.
Adder asks, is there a lifetime license for the mobile app? No, at the moment, it's only on a monthly subscription, unless, of course, you have a desktop version and you have a current support and updates activated in your profile.
Yeah. Michael asks, would love to see some GAN indicators. Michael, yeah, would you be able to just reach out to support@motivewave.com and put in a request? I'll jot it down in a note. But yeah, if there are any requests for the mobile app, just email us, send in a request, and we keep track of all your requests. Sally asks, can I be on MotiveWave and desktop at the same time? You can, according to MotiveWave, but your connection may not allow it.
If you don't mind, keep going, Jason. I got my questions list is scrolling on me here. I'm having a hard time picking them
Okay.
up.
Let's see here. Let me just clear a few of these questions here.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Another question of, if I place an order on the mobile app, is it synchronized with the desktop version? So as long as your broker supports server-side orders, yeah, if you place an order on the desktop, it should show up in the mobile. I'll try not to get in your way, Joe. If you want to, I won't delete any questions for you there.
Okay. Who is that one from, the one you just answered?
That was anonymous.
Okay. My apologies, folks. It's just that the list here is scrolling and it's hard to catch a question here.
Let me grab one from Jamie. It says
Okay.
bonus points question to CopyTrader. If it can be used across multiple connections or just multiple accounts in one connection. So Jamie's referring to the CopyTrade feature on the desktop that we're working on.
Yep.
Right now, we would like it to be used across multiple connections. So it's being tested on CQG and Rhythmic at the moment. But it, each connection works differently. It handles orders differently. So they need to all be working the same way for the CopyTrade feature to work. So it's not extremely simple. It would be a much more simple thing if we only allowed one connection. So that was a long way of saying, yes, we are planning to add multiple connections to that.
Okay, Marcus asks, is it possible to add a simulated account as a desktop app when logged into a live account? I don't see that anywhere, Jason. Is that correct?
Yeah, we decided not to add a simulated account just because it would be very difficult. A lot of the times in a mobile app, or if you say you're using a phone, maybe your phone, you switch apps and then MotiveWave is kind of put to sleep by your phone and it might disconnect. Then it's like, well, where did that order get filled while you were disconnected? And, it just becomes complicated. If we get enough requests, we'll definitely look into it, but no, for the time being, we don't have simulated.
Okay. We have a few people here mentioning interactive brokers. I've already covered that. Mo asks, these charts, are they on log scale or is there a feature to turn this on? I'm assuming he's referring to semi-log scale.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to cut you off
No,
there.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, we do have the option to enter in your chart preferences here. If you go into the price scale, you can select linear or semi-log. So we do have that option available.
Joel asks, do we have to sign up to Oanda via the MotiveWave link, or does it work with existing accounts? No, it'll work with existing accounts. You don't have to go through the MotiveWave link. Per asks, can custom-made study strategies be used? We've covered that at the moment, being that the technology used to build the mobile app is not the same as the desktop app. We cannot use a Java SDK from the desktop app with our mobile app for custom studies and strategies. We are looking at implementing some sort of alternative, most likely some sort of scripting language on the mobile side.
Okay. John asks, is there anywhere in the mobile app where we can cancel all orders and flatten all positions across all instruments, or do we have to go product by product and do it manually? John, that's a really good question. We have in your accounts page, if you're on your, let's say your orders, you have the ability to close. So you can go close, or excuse me, let's say you are on your positions panel here. We have this closed column. You'll have to go through each of your positions and press close, 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 close. But that is an interesting thought. And actually, I'm just going to write that down as a note here, because I'm just thinking, if you're using the MotiveWave mobile app as a backup, let's say your internet goes out, you may want to easily be able to close or flatten all your positions, all your orders at once. So not currently, John, but that's a really good suggestion. And I think that's something we could add in.
Carlos Chavez asks, if I have an AMP Futures account, does that mean I have a license to use this mobile version, or do I need to purchase the mobile version? There is no connection between the AMP Futures account. Sorry, let me restate that. You can connect to an AMP Futures account. However, if you have an account with AMP Futures, you do not get a license for MotiveWave. So you would have to either purchase the mobile version or purchase the desktop and then have access to the mobile version. Brian Downing, hi Brian. We don't have a timeline now for the IBKR connection. but it is on our radar. Kenneth asks, will TradeStation be one of the data suppliers? It seems like their API is web-based, so I would think they are definitely a candidate for as an additional connection for the mobile app.
We have Anonymous asking, can we connect CQG both on the mobile app and desktop at the same time? By default, I believe CQG connections only allow one trading app to connect at a time. Now you may be able to talk to your broker to see. I know some connections allow multiple. If you talk to your broker and if you pay a certain fee, you might be able to get a second connection. But yeah, not by default. It probably won't be allowed.
Jeffin asks, will there be a tutorial on YouTube page for the mobile version?
We've had, this is our 5th webinar. So if you're looking to kind of drill down into a few more details on the, the phone layout and the tablet layout, I wasn't really able to show you that well today because my landscape mode went all funny on me. But yeah, you can take a look at our YouTube channel, and we'll have 4 other webinars that we've done.
Okay, I'm gonna grab a few more. How much time we have left, Jason?
Yeah, we're kind of cutting her close here. Let's see if we can knock off maybe a couple more here.
Okay, well, Shane asks, will my third-party apps, OFA, for example, that is enabled on desktops be enabled for the mobile? Not at the moment. Is that in the works, Jason, or something that's being considered?
We have not talked about that yet, Shane. So I would say reach out to us via email. Might have to talk to OFA to see if that's possible.
Let's move down to Igor. Igor asks, is there a way to change a desktop to a light theme? Never tried that.
Igor, you've stumped us.
I don't think
I don't think so. No,
I don't
believe
think
we
so.
created the mobile app in just the dark theme.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it here.
If you want to send us a request, Igor, go ahead via email, please.
Marcos asks, on my desktop platform, I connect my data to Chicago server as I use a VPN, but on my phone, I don't. So connecting to Europe, will that have issues for me? I do know that, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, that with Rhythmic, I'm assuming he means Rhythmic here because he's mentioning Chicago server. It can be finicky with VPN connections, can it not?
Yeah, Rhythmic's extremely finicky with VPNs. Many times you'll get an error message when you try to log in. I personally wouldn't use a VPN. I guess that brings up the question, do you need to use a VPN? Because that may be adding some lag.
Yeah. As far as on the Europe side, on the mobile end, I guess they're assuming probably to the Frankfurt connection, which is available in the server dropdown. You shouldn't have any issues there, as far as I know.
Okay. I think we're going to have to cut this off, unfortunately, Joe.
Okay. All right.
We're kind of running out of time here, but I apologize to everyone. I can see we still have some questions here. So if you didn't get your question answered, please email support@motivewave.com. Let's see if I can get that up here. support@motivewave.com. And we'll try to get those questions answered for you within the next day or two.